In this section, I would like to show you how the videos, homework, putting it together, and major quizzes are accessed. Notice here that I've had to log in to my version of MyMathLab. This is where I go to manage your course, and so certain buttons that are on my screen are not going to appear on yours. You notice here there's a couple that has these little slashes out to the side. These are buttons that do not appear on your screen at the moment. First, I want to go to Chapter 1, and I want to go to Chapter 1 Videos. If I click on the Watch Chapter 1 Videos, when you pull this up on your screen right now, there should be a little green flag to the side of the Section 1.1 videos. The reason that is you're watching the introductory videos, and you must finish all of these introductory videos before you have access to the first section of videos in the homework. As it is, since I'm in the instructor version, I've made it so I can access those videos, so I'm just going to click that link. And the way these are laid out is they are laid out in correspondence to the actual lecture notes that you have purchased in the bookstore. So notice here the way they're labeled. It's Math 13-14, it's Section 1.1, Page 2. What does Page 2 mean? What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the PowerPoint notes that you have that you've purchased in the bookstore, and I want to show you kind of how to use them along with these videos. So these are the notes that you would have purchased at the bookstore. If we'll scroll down and go to the first section of material, okay, we'll notice up at the top there's a page 2. So as you flip through your notes, you want to flip to page 2. We notice this is section 1.1. There is here in your notes a definition. It says we call x, y an ordered pair. An ordered pair is also called a point. And then there are some instructions on how to plot ordered pairs. So it gives you the steps for doing this particular kind of problem. And then you see here to the side there is an EX for example. And so the video that we were looking at watching here, it comes from section 1.1, you flip to page 2, and the very first example is the one that's worked here in this video. So if we click on this, it will open the video, you're able to press play, and it will work that very first example that is in your notebook. So you need to make sure that you keep your notebook available as you're watching these videos, as there's information that is said in your notebook that's not said in the videos. But you want to copy these examples that you watch in the videos down in your notebook. This would be equivalent to you coming to lecture and me doing the problems that are in your notebook. Alright, you need to go through and you need to watch each video so that you have every single example that you need for section 1.1 completely done. After you've watched each one of these videos, then you would come over and you would press OK to save that assignment. And then notice here, before there was a green flag on section 1.1 homework. Now that flag is gone since I've watched all the videos for that particular assignment. So I would now click into section 1.1 homework, and then I can come and do the very first problem here. Click. And then in this particular window, you will notice that there are navigational arrows to the right specifically now, and then the numbers are labeled up at the top. The one thing about the homework is that you're going to know if you get the right or the wrong answer immediately. So if we're looking at this particular problem, they're wanting us to write the coordinate for this ordered pair. We notice that from the origin we go over 1, 2, and then we're going to go up 1. So the ordered pair would be parentheses 2, 1. Notice down below in blue, below that box, there's instructions. It says type as an ordered pair. So that tells me I know I need parentheses, I need that comma that separates that 1 and 2. Then I can come down and do check answer, and it will tell me right away if I've gotten it right or wrong. This one I've gotten right. It says good job. and then I can now advance to the next question. So I can come up here and press question number 2. It says plot 0, -4 on the coordinate axes. So notice here we have a point that we can move around. I'm going to on purpose plot this point incorrectly. So let's say that I just randomly say it's right here. Okay. If I do check answer, it's going to tell me that I'm incorrect. And then it will also give me some instructions that would help me figure out what I did wrong so that I can correct my error. All right, so I can basically miss a problem up to 3 times before it counts it as incorrect. I want to show you what would happen if I did miss it 3 times. So I'm just going to leave that point there and say check answer, it says it's wrong. Final check, it says it's wrong, and then it says this is what the correct answer was, this is what your answer is. So now we see up here the second problem has an X on it, which means I have missed it. However, if you're in the homework, you can come down here and we now see that it says similar exercise. That means it's going to regenerate the question with different numbers and let me try again. So now it says plot -2, 4. So I know I need to go over 2 to the left and 4 up. And you notice here it's a little tricky as far as it jumping around. All right, there's where I need to be. I can do check answer. I've got it right, and that X that I had before is now turned to a check mark. Now the nice thing about homework, not only do I know if I get the question correct as I go along, I have a chance to redo it if I miss it, which means that all of my homework should be very good grades, 90s, 100s. And then also, I can interrupt myself in the middle of a homework assignment. In other words, you know, if I have kids or something like that and I need to run and pick them up from the school, I can come down here and I can do save. It will save my assignment. Notice that numbers 1 and 2 are already done, but all the rest are still incomplete. And then when I come back to the assignment, I can pick up where I left off on question number 3. So that's the basics behind your homework. There are some tabs over here to the side. If you ever have a question on a particular problem, you can press Ask My Instructor. It will email me the specific question that you have so that when I open it up in my email, I can specifically see the question, and then you can type me a little brief explanation of your question and what you're having trouble with, and then I can get back with you in a timely manner. There's also a textbook, and there's also the option to print. If you'd actually like to print your homework and then do it on paper, and then you can come back and you can enter your answers in here online if you'd like to do that. That is an option as well. Okay, I'm going to X out of this. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to show you how the putting it togethers and the quizzes work. Notice also I do have a separate tab, one for videos and one for homework. They actually put you in the same place. Here, if I want to watch videos, I can click on that link. If I want to come and if I want to do homework, I can click on this link. But notice it takes me to the same place. So these two things are kind of the same. Putting it together, I'm going to click there, and I want to show you how this works. Okay, make sure to read through this paragraph about putting it togethers. What this is it's a quiz preparation. There are some major quizzes that you're going to take over each chapter of material that we cover. And before you take that major quiz, it's important that you prepare and that you understand the material fully, since those major quizzes are going to be a large portion of your grade. And so the putting it togethers that I've provided is a way for you to prepare. So I'm going to click on the chapter 1, putting it together. Notice here that there is a green flag and it says you must do section 1.6 homework before starting this assignment. So as the instructor, I have not yet done that, and so it's telling me I cannot access that assignment to be able to do it yet. However, because I am in instructor mode, I'm able to actually click on it and show it to you so that we can see here in this video how it works. You would not be able to do this in the student version. Okay, now notice here, this is a little different than your homework. It comes up, it says that we are actually starting a quiz This is not your major quiz, but it's the putting it togethers. It says you have started this quiz 0 out of an unlimited amount of times. So we can come over here and say ready to start. Notice that this particular quiz is with a graphing calculator, so you can get that graphing calculator out and use it on the quiz. On this particular problem, I would go and enter that in my graphing calculator, and then looking at the screen of my graphing calculator, decide which graph most represents the one that's on my calculator. Notice that on here, each one of these pictures has this little magnifying lens to the side. You're probably going to want to click on that so that you can see exactly what that graph is doing. It makes the graph a little bit larger. I believe on this particular problem the correct answer is B. Now when I click on that, notice there's no check answer down below. So I don't know if that's the correct answer or not. And so on the quizzes, I have to go through the entire quiz and submit it before I know if I'm getting something right or wrong. Okay, on this one, I'm just going to randomly guess something. I want to show you what will happen as far as taking the quiz and submitting it and so forth. All right, so for you as the student, you'd want to work through each one of these problems, enter your answers. We see here that there are 13 problems on this particular quiz. I can press this arrow and it will take me to the end of the quiz. You want to make sure to complete all 13 problems before you submit your quiz. Okay, I'm obviously not doing that. I want to show you how this works, so I'm not finishing all 13 questions. If I press submit quiz right now, it will warn me. It will say you have 11 unanswered questions. So you as a student, you wouldn't want to do this because you would have a bad grade on this particular assignment, and you wouldn't want that. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I'm going to have a very bad grade. We see here that I scored a 7.69. I got the first question right, the second question wrong. Remember, those are the only two I actually answered, and then all the other ones I didn't even answer, so those were definitely incorrect. All right, so you have to go through the entire quiz and submit it before it will tell you which ones are correct and which ones are incorrect. Notice here that there is a review test option. If I do review test, then it will go back to the quiz. It will say, hey, you got number 1 right. Remember, I answered number 2 and I answered it incorrectly. It said this is the one you chose. This is the correct one. So you'd be able to review this and look at it and kind of see what you've done wrong and hopefully know what to do to correct your errors. Now, these putting it togethers, you can work an unlimited amount of times. So there is no limit to the amount of times you can do these two quizzes. They're preparing you for the real thing, and so you want to make sure that you're comfortable and confident in doing the material. All right, last thing, and you see it here, it says major quiz. What I would do first though is I'd come over here to take major quiz. There's important information here concerning that. Says major quiz, 1 attempt only. So you need to make sure that you know that there's 1 attempt only, and I need to make sure I'm prepared. Now here's the thing. If I come down here right now as a student and I click on this, I'm able to get into it. That's my 1 attempt. So you do not want to accidentally click into this before you are actually prepared to take this quiz. All right, let's say I'm a student and I've done all my chapter 1 homework, all my chapter 1 videos, all my chapter 1 notes. I've done both of the putting it togethers. I'm fully prepared to actually take my first major quiz. Make sure you're in a quiet place. Make sure that you have your graphing calculator, pencil, paper to do your work on. Be in a quiet place, no distractions, cell phones off, etc. This would be equivalent to you coming to class and taking our first exam. Because this is an online class, I will tell you on the major quizzes that you take at home, I do not mind if you actually use your notes. However, they are timed, and so you need to be familiar enough with the material and quick enough with the material that you're not having to flip around a whole lot in your notes, you know, to help you with these problems. Okay, so I'm a student, I'm well prepared now, I'm ready to take my quiz. I'm going to show you how this works and what it looks like. I click in, this is my one attempt. Notice here it says you have started this quiz 0 of 1 time. I only have one attempt. So I'm going to come down and say I'm ready to start. Now this is a timed major quiz, and so it will show you the time remaining up here at the top. So we have an hour and 30 minutes to finish this quiz. That means that I need to be well tuned with the material, well able to work through it in a way so that I'm able to finish within the desired time. Okay. For this particular problem, I'm going to look at the question. It looks like I have a y-intercept of 3. It looks like my slope is, let's see, maybe -1/8. So let's say I say this is -1 divided by 8x. And then I think we said plus 3. So I'm going to enter the answer there. And then notice there is no check answer. I would just go on to the next question. I would enter the answer for this one. And I would do that for every single problem. How many questions are there? It says this test has 25 problems. So you'd want to go through and you'd want to answer all 25 problems. So go through, answer all these questions, and when you're done, and only when you're done, you would do submit quiz. Notice here I have not completed the quiz, and so it warns me you have things that you haven't answered. Are you sure you would still want to submit it? As a student, I do not want to do this because right now I know I would have a poor grade, and I can't do anything about that grade unless I answer those other questions. I'm going to go ahead and submit it. It says I made a 4%. Remember, I answered that first question. I must have answered it correctly. Notice also here, and this is only true for the major quizzes, it does not allow you to review it. Okay, there's a reason for that, but it will give you your score only, but does not allow you to review. Now, for each student who takes this class, your quiz will be different. Okay, so it's not like you can ask one student, hey, what was on the quiz? Your quizzes are all going to be different. You can have different problems, different numbers, and so forth. All right. So that highlights the differences between your homework and your quizzes. Also, how to take notes in your lecture notebook, how to watch the videos to go with that. If you have any questions on these topics, then let me know. The biggest thing I can say about what I've showed you here is to be careful about this major quiz. If for some reason you have technical difficulties, if you accidentally click on it and didn't mean to, then it's going to submit a grade. It's going to submit a poor grade, and that will be your grade. And you don't want that happening, so make sure that you only take that major quiz when you're ready to take it.